It's like going to Hawaii.
Oh.
Do I call you
Bhagavat.
Bhagavat?
Yeah.
I'll call you... Yes, a lot of people think that you're even worse than Bhagavats.
A lot of people do, but I don't think they know.
Could you tell us, because really I don't think any of us know anything about the Hare Krishna movement. What is the movement?
The Hare Krishna movement is a very old movement, many thousands of years old, actually. It's called Vaishnavism, which means servants of Vishnu. It's a very old culture that's been extant in India for many thousands of years. But in recent times, one Lord Chaitanya initiated this Sankirtan movement, which is what you see us doing, the chanting in the streets of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
But the movement itself, even though it's based on
in the West,
Hindu, it was only really kicked off again in 1966, wasn't it, in New York?
In the Western world, this is the first time in actually all recorded history that a Eastern religion has been implanted into the Western world. Usually we see the opposite happening.
Yeah.
Christianity went to India and all through Asia. But now the leader of our movement, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, he came from India in 1965 and established what is known as the International Society for Krishna Consciousness in New York City. And since then it's spread all throughout the world. Now we have about 150 centres in practically every country around the world now.
And the names you take, what's their meaning?
These names are Sanskrit words, which are actually names of God. And real name is Das. Das means servant. So as I explained, this Vaishnava cult is a cult of service to God.
So why am I wearing these flowers?
Oh, this is...
I don't know, I can't sit here. People might tune in a bit late, have a can after the two's cup.
Well, this is actually a token of our gratitude to you for inviting us onto your show. In Vedic culture, when an important guest comes, he's welcomed with flowers. The same principle, like you say, in Hawaii, they use it there. When guests come, they give a garland.
The Hare Krishna movement's been vastly criticised, and I think mostly looked upon by people as a group of panhandlers, going around the streets of Sydney seeking money.
Yeah.
Is this how much of your efforts are directed at just getting money off the public?
Well, obviously, any organisation anywhere in the world needs money to exist. I think the main point is most people don't know what we use this money for.
Right.
I brought some books along tonight. We've printed some 90 million books.
You held it up to that camera
this
there?
Camera?
Yeah.
This is one. I brought these for you.
Gee, thank you.
That's
If I read all the books I get on here, I'd really have some class.
Well, you just keep them in your house. They actually bring you a lot of good luck.
All right. Anyway, we won't keep holding them
So
up.
these books, we've printed 90 million pieces of literature in about 37 languages in the last 4 years.
But let's go back to the real basics. What's wrong with a Christian religion, or what is the advantage of your... Do you call it a religion, or is it a cult, or your belief?
It's a religion, way of life, a way of living.
And what's the advantage of it over Christianity?
Advantage?
Yeah, why is it better to join your mob than another mob?
We don't say it's better to join our mob than another mob. We're not saying we're better than others in that sense. What we are saying is that the basic philosophy of Krishna consciousness is that we are all servants of God. So how you understand God, according to whatever social milieu you come through, whatever information you have, then you can understand, even through the Christian teachings, through the Muslim teachings, through Buddhist teachings, and through Vedic teachings, the basic principles of religious life are there for human beings to follow.
But why is it that it's not satisfactory for you to just belong to a more traditional church? What is the basic differences?
I don't think it's a question of dissatisfaction with another. It's being more attracted to this process of Krishna consciousness.
Well, I'd just like to understand the simple differences. Like Christians worship Jesus, the Son of God.
Yes. So we worship Krishna, who is God himself.
Krishna is the Father of Jesus.
Yes, the Father of us all.
Do you believe that Jesus was the Son of God?
Oh, definitely, a very good Son of God.
Just as you are a Son of God.
No, I'm a bad Son of God. He was good.
But you do see Jesus as being a Son of God like many other good people.
Yes, just as he explained, our Father which art in heaven, our Father. He instructed everybody to pray to our Father.
So you've sort of gone skipped the middleman and gone straight to the top.
Well, not exactly. We haven't skipped the middleman. We also have spiritual masters, just as Jesus is.
No, I'm not trying to
I understand.
denigrate you. I'm trying to really understand.
I understand. I can explain. Yeah. One can only actually approach God through a pure representative of God. That is, Jesus is a pure representative of God, and any person who is a pure follower of Jesus is also a pure representative of God and able to reveal God to you. It's just like the secretary. Like you have, what's her name? Jebby Phillips.
Yeah.
Well, she introduced me to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you can't approach an important personality directly. Even in the mundane sphere, I can't walk into Malcolm Fraser's office and say, you know, how you going, Mal? Like that. I can't do it. I have to go through a certain set of channels. I have to approach him in a certain way.
When you get to see him,
yes.
Say he says he'd like to see you.
Yes.
And you're going to flog him with the Hare Krishna movement. What do you say to him?
I say that he should consult those persons who are fully acquainted with the laws of God as to the best way to run this country for the benefit of all living entities in this country. Not just the human beings, but everyone.
And is your way of life any different to that of the rest of us? I mean, I noticed tonight, I always thought that the Hare Krishnas I've seen in town, two things I've noticed, they're always very pale and very bald, with just a bit of hair sticking out the end. Do you have to be pale?
No, but we don't go to the beach so much. We don't go sun tanning so much.
What, any reason, or just?
Well, we go swimming, but we don't spend our time lolling about in the sun. We're more actively engaged. Actually, we're very busy. We work very hard.
Can you give us a typical day?
A typical day?
What day do you have your service?
Every day.
Every day?
Every day.
Full?
Full on. We rise, as I said, it's a way of life. It's a complete lifestyle. We rise very early in the morning, around 3:30. And after taking bath and dressing, we go to the temple for a...
Sorry to interrupt, but how many of you live together in the temple, and how many live normally in their homes with their family and just worship with you?
Well, it's... In the temples in Sydney, we have two temples. We have one in the city and we have a farming community out near Windsor. In each of those, there's about 40 permanent inmates who live in the temple.
Inmates?
Well, that's just a word. They live in the temple.
Not a real good word. You know?
Well...
Doesn't matter, yeah. They live there voluntarily, though.
Oh, yeah.
Unlike many of the fanatical religions.
We're not fanatical. We're not fanatical at all. No, we don't force anybody to do anything in our temples. Everybody is there by choice. And they voluntarily accept. We live a very disciplined life, but everybody voluntarily accepts that discipline.
Well, Bhagavata, before we come back and talk to you a little more, the other thing I think we all know about the Hare Krishna is the chanting, the group of you chanting around the city streets.
Yeah.
Before your group chant, could you explain to us what the point of it is?
The point of this chanting, this Maha Mantra, the Hare Krishna mantra, is that it is a transcendental sound vibration. It's actually a sound vibration that comes from the spiritual world. Spiritual world is a place which exists beyond the confines of limited time and space. There's an eternal spiritual realm. And there everything is eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. And we as spiritual entities are by nature full of knowledge and full of bliss and eternal. But due to our long association with this material world, we've forgotten that relationship that we have with Krishna in the spiritual world. So this sound vibration purifies the heart, purifies the mind, so that gradually as one chants and develops his attachment to Krishna, he begins to remember his relationship with Krishna.
So is it a sort of a form of meditation?
Oh yes, definitely.
So when we listen to this, we should do our best to meditate and think.
No, don't think, just listen.
Just listen.
Now Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Jaya Radha Sri Vasari Gauracharinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Jaya Radha Sri Vasari Gauracharinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Well, now we've listened, thought or not thought, the Hare Krishna movement, the rules of life, day-to-day living, are there any big differences? I notice half your members are celibate.
Yeah. Well, actually, we're all celibate in the sense that we have a regulative principle that we have no illicit sex life. Our principle for illicit sex life is that the purpose of sex life is for the propagation of children. So even in our married life, sex life is only indulged in to propagate children.
Never for
what?
just for sheer enjoyment.
Well, it's obviously sheerly enjoying all the time. The sheer enjoyment is there in that, but overindulgence in any activities of the senses leads to
Other things,
entanglement. Food, we don't eat any meat.
grog.
No, we don't take any intoxications. And we don't gamble, John.
Bhagavata, at least I think we've learned a lot more about the Hare Krishna movement than we knew. Thank you very much for coming, and we'll be back after this with Are You Ready? Featuring Lester Coombs and Sir Nicholas Shahady.
Thank you.